we are back with Pin the Gas podcast. Cool Jules here, Mr. Chris the Show Simko, and our special guest of, I was about to say the evening, it's only 1 p.m. For the first time, we had another American, because man, these time zones be messing up, man. Like we've been having a whole bunch of foreign guests, but anyway, we're gonna welcome Mr. Razor Ryan Rawls. What is good, brother?
Oh man, I appreciate y'all having me on the show, man. It's been a while.
Razor Ryan Rawls. What do you think?
We could do Razor Ryan Rawls. There's a lot of names I went by, man. Flying Ryan Rawls, Rocket Rawls. We can call it whatever, man.
Rocket Rawls.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah.
Rocket
Should I rescind the whole Razor thing then?
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, we got
Rocket sounds sick.
Man, it's all good.
I don't know. I kind of like Rocket.
We can do Rocket,
dude.
Hey, no, like I said, it's an honor to be here, man. I love what you guys have been doing, and we've been talking about this for a while now. And to finally be able to do this with you guys is epic, man. I've been loving everything you guys have been doing.
I appreciate it.
You've been with us since day one.
Yeah, I've been watching it, man. Me and Chris and a few other people. I saw Chris Tolik one. Me and Chris are good buddies. And man, when he said, "Man, you got to get Ryan on the show," and Chris has known me for quite a while now, for a few years now, and watching you guys just do your thing has been pretty cool, man.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
No worries.
Yeah, we honestly we appreciate it, man, because this thing has been insane. Like the amount of people that we get to talk to, the amount of people that Chris has gotten on,
right?
And just me being a newcomer to the sport and all the information that I'm absorbing through you guys, what goes on behind the paddock,
right?
Moto America stuff, MotoGP stuff, World Superbike, British Superbike stuff. Like it's insane the amount of information that we're retaining, right. And stuff that Chris, also being a veteran in the game, he's learning some new things as well.
Right.
So
absolutely,
it's a learning process for all of us, and I enjoy just picking everybody's brains and just like learning different things. You know what I mean?
We're all fans of it, man. So why not?
That's it.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Like I said, 2.5 years. So I definitely got some skin in the game. You know what I mean?
There you go, man. Hey, that's good.
Yeah, because I was talking to the show the other day, and I was like, "Yo, should I put out a video just for the PTG people saying like, hey, I'm still new to this, so if I have any opinions that you guys agree with, disagree with, screw you, because da da da." And then Chris was like, "Nah, just rock and roll, man. Who cares what these people say?"
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, because I had someone come after me for my knowledge, and I was like, bro, I'm new to this thing.
There you go.
But anywho, Chris, the show Simco, you're the one who brought this beautiful man on. You go ahead. Take it from here, brother.
So, Ryan, why don't we I'm going to let you take it off, Ryan. Just tell everybody how you got involved in motorcycles and where you're at with it today.
Okay, cool, man. Basically, it started in Apopka, Florida in 1986. I was born in July 11th, 86. My dad road raced motorcycles from 1985 to about 1992. And I was just born around it, man. When I was about a month old, I was chewing on foot pegs on old GSXR 7 bikes in the garage and crawling around, and it was just something that it's amazing. And it's still, I'm 36 now, and I just grew up with it. We didn't go to Disney World when I was a kid. We went to motorcycle road races, so Road Atlanta, Moroso. I mean, the list goes on. Barber, we did everything. So Daytona it's huge. So. Yeah, it's just been always a big passion of mine. Nobody ever forced me into it. It was just something I was always around, and I always had an obsession, and I still do, with the 80s and 90s road race bikes. Early 2000s stuff's great, but anything from that era, man. I started watching VHS tapes when I was 2 or 3 years old, and they would just plop me in front of the TV, and there it goes. So it was just it was an awesome childhood, riding and being around the people, and just it was a golden era for sure.
Yes, absolutely it was.
So following that up, so in terms of, you probably just said it just now, but in terms of like motorcycle racing, right? What do you consider would be the golden era of like let's say specifically MotoGP? I
would say MotoGP easy for me, man. I would say it's the 80s, the late 70s and 80s and early 90s were at its best. But if I had to pick one era for 500cc GP racing or even MotoGP, racing's great. Yeah. I would have to say the 80s for me. I loved the way those bikes reacted. There was a lot of Americans in the top of the field. Yep. We had the 500cc two-strokes were just unbelievable, and I still love watching them to this day.
Yeah, me too, Ryan. Me too.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna ask if there were two-strokes.
Yep, two-strokes. Yep.
And then the two-strokes ended.
That ended in 2001, I believe. I think there was still a few on the grid in 2002.
There were.
But 2001.
Yep.
500 cc's. So those bikes were a lot lighter to flick around, and
it was just stupid how cool they were, man. They were pretty light. But then, of course, the V5s, these V5 GP bikes come out, these 4-strokes, and it was, a totally different thing. But a good rider on a good 2-stroke, man, it was just a beautiful thing to watch.
Yes, it was absolutely a beautiful thing to watch, and I miss it so much. Actually, I go back all the time and watch the old reruns on my MotoGP app of the 500 races because there's nothing like it. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I have yet to watch. Is there any races? I guess this is for y'all too. Is there any races that you recommend someone like me to watch in that era? What year? What track?
Got a few. I would say the 1988 French GP is a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh,
another epic one, which a lot of people love watching, is the 91 500cc GP from Suzuka. That's a good one too. Swan Train, guys battling for it, doing.
Yep.
There's just so many on the table. We can, but there's a lot of good racing. What about you, Chris?
Oh man, dude, there's so many. It's hard for me to pick a favorite back in that time because I was so glued to the TV and all on every single one of them. I was like, and all of them, most of the time was like, holy shit, are you kidding me right now? Yeah, dude, I agree with Ryan though. And a lot of that is because we had a lot of Americans back then, and we don't now. And the racing was completely different. The times were different, the bikes were different. Yeah, I wish we could go back to that era, man, because there was nothing like 500 two-strokes.
A simpler time back then. The riders, of course, everybody works hard now in MotoGP, which is great, and it's huge. Yeah. Like Eddie Lawson said in a podcast I watched recently, he said that the support that these guys are getting now is unbelievable. And you start looking at all the stuff now, and you look at back then. I mean, they had pretty good help, but nowhere near the support and help they have now. So the game is great, but it was a great time back then.
Absolutely, it was.
Yeah, the money flow that's coming into the sport compared to where it was before.
Right.
I think the earliest that I've seen a race was probably like 09.
Okay.
Or no, I lied. 07 because I saw that Casey Stoner at Laguna Seca.
Okay.
And then just going from that to where MotoGP is now.
It's changed.
Social media plays a big part.
Oh yeah.
All the money, all the wings to make these things fly. Like it's just, it's such a different, it's so much of an evolution.
Mention that from especially when you go to 09, we'll go back to 89 or 90. These guys were still getting paid they were still getting paid $2 to $3 million.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Oh shoot. Yeah. Contract for $3 million I read back in 1989 to go to Yamaha, and he said no, I don't even. I'm going to stick with Team Roberts and stick with his team. He was supposed to go to Marvel Yamaha, didn't happen. So yeah, back then there was a lot of money going through it, but a lot of these guys have invested well. A lot of the older racers and stuff, but the new racers, Valentino Rossi, $158 million or something he's worth.
Jeez,
it's crazy.
Stupid money.
It is.
The Michael Jordan of motorcycle racing.
The GOAT.
He's definitely that.
I mean, for real. I mean, everything from the color of the suit, the highlighter yellow, to just the way he carries himself, and the fact that he mass produces his helmets.
Right.
I think is sick. I wish more riders did that.
Sure.
Mass produce their helmets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Mark does it a little bit, but not as much as Rod. Like one of my favorite helmets are like the Mugello one.
Yeah.
That one's like all yellow and just says Mugello right here.
Yeah, I like that one.
So they have the K1 version, which is the really expensive version.
Yeah.
Pista one, but then they also have the cheap K1 version.
Right.
And I wish more riders would do that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as much as I love Rossi, I've got so much Rossi memorabilia around here. I love him, but I'm just not a big AGV guy. I've always been an Arai guy. So I own a bunch of Arai helmets. But I'm a big Day and Easy fan. I mean, I've got a set of Donald Jackson's leathers right here from 1993 that he wore from Team Yosh.
These are epic.
It's an awesome color.
It is.
Yeah, I love the purple.
The 90s colors were just
epic.
Fresh,
they're so epic.
They're so fresh.
Yeah, there's some stuff out there for sure.
We had the pinks and the purples and the blues.
That's what
electric colors.
They have some different colors on them. So, yeah, it's funny. Me and my dad always get into a dispute about that. We always talk about, hey, man, you got these heavy 90s motorcycles. He was always in 80s stuff, so it was always stripes and everything like that. But I just like the bright colors, man. The 90s had some flair. So that's who I am.
Yep.
Man, that's insane. Chris, you got anything you want to ask?
Yeah. So, Ron, you go to all these events here in Moto America, right?
Right.
And I know you go all the time. So what's your favorite track you go to here in America?
New Jersey. They rode Atlanta when it used to be the Big Kahuna Nationals back in the day. That was an epic event. But I love going to Road Atlanta for Moto America. It is such a great weekend. We camp out. I've been fortunate enough these past few years to have friends of mine that have RVs, so I'm able to crash with them. Full treatment. I know a lot of the Moto America guys there, so it's really cool to just experience that. But it's awesome, man. Road Atlanta is always one of the best events. You get to hang out. There's so many different vantage points you get to watch. So yeah, it's really cool to go out there and get close to the riders. I mean, that's what's cool about Moto America. You're able to get really close to them. Like this year, I got to meet Pecco Beck. Not Pecco, but what is it? What's his name? What's it? Petrucci. Sorry,
Danilo. Yeah. How was that experience?
And that was pretty cool. He was actually neat with me. Me and him and Josh Herron were talking about something at the Ducati tent, and it was on Thursday out there. So everybody was kind of just still setting up, but he was just sitting over there. Petrucci was. I said, "Hey man, do you mind if I get on?" Yeah, man. He got an autograph. We talked for a second. I did offer him a beer. He said no, he couldn't have one right then. But we did later in the weekend, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
What was he like stoic? Like, yeah, I take a picture with you.
He wasn't stoked. A lot of guys that are like really excited to somebody's going to come over here and talk to me. But he's a world level guy, so he went over there and said, "Hey man," I shook his hand. "Hey, nice to meet you." And he was happy to do it. He smiled, but he was just
okay.
Own thing. So it just shows you that these guys are normal people, but at the same time they kind of want their own space.
Right.
So, but yeah. It's not like when you go up to an older racer. Like I go up to some guy that raced in the 90s, early 2000s. They love when you remember them because that takes them back to their time.
Right.
So, but a lot of these guys, like Josh Herron's a cool dude to talk to. Brandon's another favorite of mine.
Yep.
Brandon, me and way back. Just a lot of great riders. When I see Wayne Rainey, love talking to Wayne. So yeah, it's really good.
I have not ran into him yet.
Yeah, he's very hard to get to on his wheelchair. Yeah, when you start chasing him down, dude.
He's got like a NOS button on it. Like I'm just trying to chase him. That was the same thing with
one time, and he just went right paddle. Like, whoa, what happened to Wayne? He's right over there. But no, it's really cool to see a lot of these guys races, and I think this year's championship is going to be just amazing.
Mega, me too.
Especially when they come back to Daytona. When they came to Daytona last year, it was epic watching the backer races, watching Super Sport. And it's just going to raise the bar, I think, even more. We're going to get more attendance, I think, for 2023 season.
I think so too.
I believe so, especially with Cam coming back. Sorry.
Yeah, love to see. I'm excited about Cameron coming back on the BMW.
Me too, man.
Good.
Those. I apologize, gentlemen, in advance. I'm eating my lunch.
It's all good, dude.
I'm going to work after this. So with Cam coming back, and the emergence of these BMW motorcycles, which, in my opinion, just came out of freaking nowhere.
Right.
Competition is going to be heavy. But the thing is,
it's going to be real heavy. Very, very heavy.
I think it's going to be closer than it has been in the past several years, for sure. At least that's what I'm hoping.
I think Bobby.
So no more 200-second leads.
Gagne, sure. I think Bobby is going to be right there with Gagne at the end.
Yeah.
I think the Gagne and Bobby show. There's a lot of other people that could get in there. Richie Escalante is a big, do it. There's so many different people.
Schultz.
That can. Schultz is good. Matthew Schultz is big.
Yeah.
Cameron Peterson. Can't forget Cameron.
Cannot forget Cam. He's on fire at the end of last year for sure.
Yes, he was.
Definitely. Oh man, yeah. Cam Peterson was one of my favorites. He was actually the first rider that I started watching once I got into Moto America. I got a picture with him and everything. Back when he had short hair.
Yep.
And just seeing the growth from him just dominating Stock 1000 to being a podium mate on a Superbike series.
Yeah,
like it's insane. What would you say, Ryan? Who was somebody, I guess, outside of top three that you've been watching that you think is emerging in any class? Like, who do you think would be the next big thing?
I always said that I had a lot of high hopes for Posh, riding Stock 1000 class this year. Even though we're going into the Superbike this year, I think with the right team, right rider, and I think the right people behind him, I think he could do something very good.
I do too.
I would say you're talking like a regular Superbike guy. Man, it's tough to tell. I mean, there's so many great people, but top five, that's a tough one because there's so many good riders out there. But I would have to say Posh. I mean, I would like to see Posh go on the Superbike and do it. Rich Escalante's got a really good shot. And my other, if you're really talking about a guy that, even though he's been in the big show and I'm not sure what his plan is for next year, but Jake Lewis. I really Jake pressed a little bit harder this year. He did his best, but he had some injuries going on, so I get that. But it's going to be tough. I don't know, man. That's going to be a hard question, but I'd like to see Brandon Posh get on the 1000 and
Yeah, I would too. Dude, I wonder what Jake Lewis is doing next year because I haven't heard anything.
I don't know. I read a lot about it. I know he doesn't have nothing signed for next year just as of yet. I know he was with M4, and I don't know if they're in negotiations again for next year. I haven't talked to John Orch about that yet, but a lot of that stuff is in the dark until at least January, close to February. Wait to the last minute, but I hope get on the bike is going to be good, and I know whoever they choose will be good. Especially in the 600, you got Tyler Scott. I love him.
No, Tyler Scott's a beast.
That kid can ride a motorcycle, you know?
The 600 class is going to be good, man, especially because Rocco Landers has stepped his game up big time. And
Landers.
I would love to see Rocco go to a superbike. Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, he's got the build for it.
He's got the build for it. I'd like to see it, but he might have another year in 600, and who knows, might get a little bit of a better ride instead of funding himself. He might have a ride for next year.
I'd love to see it.
So what are we conspiring with the whole Suzuki thing now? Is there any news that there's like a contract extension with M4 and Suzuki for the following AMA seasons? What's going on there? Because it seems like they're pulling out of everything.
Well, it seems like they are, but I believe for Moto America, I still think they're going to be fine. M4 and them have a good connection right now, especially with Vision Wheels coming in and sponsoring. That's a big sponsor for them. So I think M4 and from what I've heard, I believe it is going to go on for next year. John Orch and them will continue for next year. I'm not sure what happens after the 2023 season, but that's a guess. But what I would love to see, and if Moto America can still keep the progress up, get the attendance going like they have, I'd love to see Honda and Kawasaki come back. And
or Aprilia.
You know, even if it's a small effort, it'd be nice to get 4 to 5 manufacturers back on the grid instead of having just two privateer, two good teams. Two basically factory teams out there compared to all your privateers. So it's really
I think that's also kind of what hurts our sport a little bit too, right? Because we only got two major players in the game and X amount of riders. It's like,
but the racing is phenomenal. It gives the guy a chance to get out there and race, and everybody's kind of equal on that. Where parts are available. Okay, I could buy this or I could buy this. Now it's basically to the public now. So.
Right. Yeah, I was actually a fan of a couple of duels this season. One of them being Matthew Skoltz and Danilo Petrucci.
Right.
Skoltz is the Petrucci slayer.
Yeah, I love watching Piston and Pedrux at Laguna. That was an epic win at the corkscrew. I mean, and then they gave each other respect, but that was a really good race.
It was an awesome race.
Yeah.
That definitely was.
Even switching gears, going to the World Superbike. Those guys have been killing it. Good to see. I'm glad to see Gerloff going to a different team. I think he's fresh. It's really cool to see him going to the BMW team for next season. I know they're starting testing, I believe, tomorrow.
I think so, yeah.
So that'll be good. Jonathan Ray and Bautista, and I'm Toprak. I'm a huge Toprak fan. So
yes.
Next season's going to be
He's a god.
Toprak has brought back into this highlight of things. I mean, he loves doing the wheelies, he loves doing the stoppies, but he can out there and race for the win. And we need that kind of personality, and Ed Rossi always doing the showboating, Cal Crutchlow, Jack Miller's still doing it for us. So we need Superbike. So even if he stayed in World Superbike for the rest of his career, I'd have no problem with that. Just for the fact that he keeps the attendance going and he has a good time doing it. And he
puts on a show, like you said. Yeah, we need more of that. Yeah.
So with that being said, right? So about Top Rack, or at least about that situation in general, because I brought this up. I brought this up with Jonathan Ray as well. There's always questions about why these guys don't take the opportunity to go to MotoGP. And my thing was for defending Johnny Ray is I feel like he's Kawasaki's it boy, and then they're paying him probably just as much as a factory ride would do, if not more, in MotoGP.
Right.
So with that being said, if Toprak stays in World Superbike, I'm pretty sure he could probably get paid as much as like a Morbidelli, for example, if not more.
I agree with you on that. I mean, a lot of people always talk about these guys can't make the move. Well, Jonathan Ray, like you were talking about, yes, he's in with Kawasaki. But even before that, he did have a factory. He did have a ride with Honda, did have a trial with Red. Yes. Did very well with it. But in the same time, it just wasn't that right time for him. So when he goes to Kawasaki, he's getting a little older. So GP rider, as you see with Cameron Bobier coming back, he said you have to be within a few tenths of these guys to be in it. And they're battling for 20th like they're battling for first. So you have to be in it to win it. And Ray always said, if I don't get a factory ride in GP, I don't want to go. And that's fine. I think it's cool that he stays, in World Superbike. And if he wants to stay with Kawasaki, that's great. No, I don't see nobody complaining when McDoohan did it for all those years for Honda. You know why? Because you get paid. I mean, you're going to get paid the ride. You're going to get paid what you want to do. So the same thing can be said about a lot of riders. But I think Jonathan Ray being there in World Superbike is just, he's set for life already. He's happy. Mm-hmm. He's enjoying himself. So, why mess up a good thing? Why go to a B team in MotoGP and go, wow, I'm going to race for 10th and 15th here. So
exactly.
It all kind of makes sense. But I think Toprak, if he's going to make a move to MotoGP, I bet it would be in 2024.
Yeah.
If it did happen. But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay in World Superbike. Why not?
Yeah, because it's a good possibility he could replace Franco Morbidelli in 2024.
It could.
So
that would be sweet. I mean, and I like Morbidelli. It's just he's all in his head.
All in his head. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stuff going on in his life, and we've talked a little bit about that. And, you have to be a professional racer at that top of that level. You have to be on your A game, or they're just going to come right around you. So I hope hopefully he can.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it is a business, and they have to move on.
You're racing for the factory Yamaha squad. Your teammate just won the 2021 MotoGP championship. I mean, that bike is a top three bike all day long. So,
so what is it? What is there actually? So, with the 2023 season and all the testing, what is it that you think Yamaha is looking to improve? Is it solely just the horsepower problem?
I think
I feel like there's a little bit more than that.
I think they want to do a lot about the horsepower. They have to get something more because the Ducati just pulls them on the straightaways. They have to get some more motor, but they also have to look at reliability too. They have to get, okay, we got to put this amount of power down on the ground, but we got to get down here a little faster. Suspension, they got to keep the handling of the bike because the handling has been there a little bit, but the motor, he just can't get it down the straightaway. So there's a little bit of everything they have to do, but of course it's a motorcycle. You're only going to be as happy as you want it to be. So. Hopefully Yamaha will come out and do something. I mean, Chris, I know has more.
Yeah, on that. So like with Yamaha, I see it like it's always a give and take situation, right? If you add more power here, it affects this area, the handling. If you adjust it here to make it better, it's going to affect this adjustment, area of the motorcycle. I think that Yamaha is actually in a good place. I just think that they need to change some staff around on the inside. Whether it's at the factory and with inside the MotoGP team and get the bike's been easy to ride. That's one of its pluses, right? Everybody that gets on it is immediate fast because it's easy, it's agile. Yeah, just like the Suzuki. They just need to refine it a little bit more, definitely in the motor area. But Fabio, everybody's got to realize once you do that, it affects, like Ryan said, everything else.
But there's something to keep him because I know this year that he was promised a brand new bike, brand new change. If something doesn't happen after this year, I mean, they're going to have to do something because he would leave. And I know a lot of teams are knocking on the door.
Absolutely,
for him, so. Salivating at the moment.
I know. I know he wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me to see him be Marc Marquez's teammate next year too.
I would love to see Marc Marquez go to KTM.
Oh, I would love to see that. I would love to see Marquez. I mean, Marquez is a great rider, but I'd like to see him switch to a different brand and see a championship on a different brand. There's so many different done it. Rossi's done it. Eddie Lawson's done it. There's been so many different Casey Stoner. There's been so many different people that have done it. So it's really cool to see when riders can go to a different machine and switch up and go, okay, I can win a championship on this now. So that just shows you the aliens that we have in MotoGP.
I can understand that point, but what about brand loyalty? Like what about that side where he's like, you know what? I've been with Honda.
Right.
I'm never leaving. Honda, ride or die.
Well, brand loyalty is a big thing too. And I've read that a lot about different people. They go, man, I'm stuck with this brand. That's great. If you're getting paid right and you want to stick with that team, go right ahead. But a lot of these guys make so much money already, and they go, look, I've already got this much money I made with this team. I want to go out and branch something else. Like Jack Miller, okay, he had some really great performances at the end of the season this year, and they're probably going, wow, maybe we should have kept him. But KTM's paying some money too, so he wants a different challenge. So there's always something different in contracts. And I think Marquez most likely will stay with Honda. But I wouldn't put past Quartararo to switch teams in the next year or two. I wouldn't put it past.
I'm with you. I agree, Ryan, 100%.
He's a big stats guy. He likes stats, and I think he would like to add his name to that. I can win on a different manufacturer. Like Rossi tried to go to Ducati. it didn't pan out. But at the same time, it was really good for Ducati sales. It was really good.
Yeah,
for
yes, it
Italian
was.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Okay, but and everybody always asked me if would Rossi won another championship if he didn't go to Ducati. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think he would have had another one. I think he would have won another championship with Yamaha, so it would have made it 10 instead of 9. But hey,
That's it. You can't.
go
Yeah.
back.
Also, man, I would love to see Brad Binder go to Aprilia.
Brad Binder would be.
Oof.
Fargo. This year was an amazing season for Aloysius. I really enjoyed watching him ride. It was really
So good.
his first win in so many, and it's almost decades now.
Forever.
So it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh man, his first podium, and then he started crying in front of his kids. That was
That's what
amazing.
I love about the
And his-
sport. That rawness, right? The emotion.
Yeah. Aloysius brings that. I love his man cave too. He loves collecting all his old leathers. It's really cool. I posted that a few times on my page, and he's a really good all around guy, family guy. But when it comes to put the helmet on Sunday,
Straight murder.
He's a dog. He's a dog, and I love how he went from the most like shitting on rider, like the guy who never wins, to now he's like on everyone's fantasy team. Like he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah, he's healthy. I mean, and then get that bike working a little better for him next year. I wouldn't count him out. The thing that Aloysius Fargo had last year had a few little engine failures. It is what it is. But if he gets consistent, there'd be no problem to stay up there in the top 2 all season long and fight for that title. But he's got to stay.
You know who's my dark horse for next year?
Go for it.
Maverick Vinales.
Okay. Everybody says something about Maverick. I like Maverick. Even when the Yamaha stuff went down with him and him wanting to blow the bike up, okay.
Yeah, trying to blow up the Yamaha.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
There's probably more to it with Yamaha, but it is what it is. But he went out there this year, and he did really well with the bike. And I just think it really is destined for more greatness.
I hope so.
Which is why I'm sort of banking on him being the dark horse, because we've seen him at his best, and when he's at his best, he's like untouchable.
He kind of Pedrosa back in the day. If he gets a good lead, he can win the damn.
It's over.
10, 15 seconds. But it's just that lack of consistency a little bit, and that's what it seemed like for a lot of riders, because the championship was switching hands here and there, and then Fabio, the biggest, had a few ups and downs and lost the title by 12 points when he had
90-point
lead at one time.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that you just got to keep digging. Pecco dug this year, and Pecco did the business, and I've got a fat bonus.
Yeah, he did.
For winning that
Well, look, that's all I'm gonna say is Pecco better enjoy it, because next year the beast is coming for sure.
All right, talking about Enea Bastianini, that is another favorite of mine. I would love to see Bastianini get into the team, show Pecco a wheel, and
for sure.
I'm going to be the number 1 next year.
Facts.
Let's go. And it's just.
Do you think that would be like the second coming of a Rossi versus Lorenzo?
I think if Pecco, or not Pecco, but I think if Enea can stand his ground like he's been doing, stay consistent, there's no doubt in my mind he can go out and win a few World MotoGP titles. He can probably win a lot of races. We've seen him win races. We've seen how he can do it, but we just have to see if he can keep the consistency up. And the injuries, of course. Injuries, are a dime a dozen. Rossi rode most of his career without having an injury, and then he got hurt in Italy, and that kind of set him back a little bit. But it all depends, man. I mean, it's hard to win at this level now. It used to be, okay, we used to watch Rossi. Oh, Rossi's going to pass these guys on lap 10, never look back. Now you have all these guys. There's 7 or 8 guys going for it, and it could be anybody's victory. So it's tough to say, but I think the Beast could be following into the doctor's footsteps for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And behind me mentioning Maverick Vinales as dark horse, and I brought up Maverick is because the progress of Aprilia and the way that Maverick rides as a rider. But there's also one more name that I almost forgot, and I can't believe I almost forgot because I'm a huge fan of him. Jorge Martin. Dude.
I love Jorge Martin. Jorge Martin's a great rider. I think Jorge Martin's got a lot of skill, a lot of promise, but he does fall down a little bit, and we see. Making the jump from Moto3 like he did to MotoGP is a huge step, and we've seen that with different riders, and it's not for everybody. So hopefully he can gain some more experiences this year coming up and win some races, and maybe he'll get it figured out in the offseason.
Jorge Martin's definitely got the speed. I agree, Ryan. Like, to me, Jorge Martin, has more natural talent than Bastianini.
Right.
Okay, I see that natural talent that he has, but there's something about it that he hadn't brought it all together. But I think if he really does bring it all together,
to refine it.
Everybody better watch out because the Martinator will be up in that ass for sure.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a rough cut. Like I agree with Chris. Like he's a little rough around the edges, but once you smooth that out, I'll probably give him another year, probably like 2024.
I think that he's going to leave Ducati 100%. Yep.
Oh, hot take. Where's it going, Chris?
Where's he?
I would say
Where's it going?
he would either go to KTM or Aprilia.
That would be a good switch for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to Yamaha.
That could happen too. Absolutely.
Anything can happen. The guy that I'm looking forward to, and I know it's different class here, but Moto 2.
Baby Jeebus. Baby Jeebus.
Baby Jeebus.
Yeah,
Pedro's my boy, man. I love watching Pedro.
Pedro's a fiend.
What he can do. I want to see what he does for next year in Moto 2. I'm glad he's staying one more year. He says he's not ready for it, and that took a lot for him to come out and do that. So I think it's great to see him stay in Moto 2. I want to see him win the title this year, and then next year get a good ride for MotoGP. And you were asking me about GOATs, and you're saying Enea Bastianini. I'm thinking that Enea Bastianini and Pedro Acosta will be the future of MotoGP.
Yeah.
Right, because after the whole departure of Rossi, right, is that we're looking to see who's the next it guy, aside Marquez, because Marquez is on some people's mind. Marquez is their GOAT,
right?
But we're still trying to find that generational talent, like. People are calling Fabio already. I think it's still a little too early to say Fabio can be a generational talent, especially with Pecco winning this year.
Exactly.
I mean, if Fabio went back to back, I would have been like, he's definitely a generational talent. But I think right now it's a little too close to call.
I think it's going to be very close to everything, and that's a good observation right there. Fabio's a great rider, but is he considered a GOAT right now? Not at all. He still has way more to do, but he's still young. He's still early in his career, so. I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4 or 5 world titles out of Fabio. Maybe. I don't know if it's going to be any more. He's going to have to get on a roll, but it's like I said earlier, it's so hard to get, on winning ways in this field. The field is so stacked. So it's going to be anybody's game, and it's that close between everybody. So it's hard to predict just one guy.
It really is. It really is.
Right. Chris, do you see anyone? Do you think from anyone that we have, even in Moto 2, who has that potential to be a generation
besides Pedro Acosta? Actually, dude, Aaron Canet. I think Aaron Canet he's got such
one of my favorites.
A talent that I don't know if it's a mental game with him too. But man, when he's on it, his riding ability is just what blows my mind half the time when I watch him ride. I'm like, holy fuck, right? And what he does on that bike is phenomenal. I just don't think it's just like anything. And Ryan knows this, and everybody watching this has been a huge fan. You got to have the right rider and the right team with the right support system around you in order to complete the whole jigsaw puzzle. Okay, if you don't have that, it's just not going to work. Period. And we see it time and time and time again in MotoGP, in World Superbike, in Moto America, shit, all form of racing, right? So,
for real.
Yeah, you have to skill level, and if you don't have the right team behind you, you're not going to do nothing. And that's where the experience comes in. That's where showing your talents at the highest level you can. You can have a bad season, but as you see with Cameron Bovier, he went over there with a lot of promise. Went over there and said, "Man, these boys are fast." So you learn the level of world fast and Moto America fast. And Bovier can be a world-class guy, but with the right team. But as he's modest, as he's said in podcast too, he's a Moto America guy. He likes being in the States. He likes being closer to home. So if you're making money and you're doing that, and you're in America doing what you need to do, that's great. But who's going to be the next American talent in MotoGP? Everybody says Joe Roberts. I don't think so. I don't see Roberts being that next guy that's going to take MotoGP to the next level. I still think we have that guy here. I said it last year. I think Tyler Scott could be that kid. I think he really could.
It could be.
It could be.
We also got SDK.
SDK, great. Now, I like to see Sean Dillon Kelly do it. But it's all going to come with, we need that guy that's going to go kick some ass here and then he's going to go to Moto or go to Moto 2 or whatever, kick ass there. So we need that like next John Kaczynski, or we need that next guy that can ride anything and put it down, because a lot of the bikes are harder to ride now. I get that, but we just don't. I don't think we have that. Like Garrett Gerloff, I love Garrett Gerloff to death.
Yeah,
like Ben Spies was our last American that really went over there and showed those guys in MotoGP, hey, I can win a race. Hey, he did. He beat. He did.
That was 09, right?
What happened? And you know what? Colin Edwards. I love Colin Edwards to death. I'm a huge Colin fan, but he never won a MotoGP race. So Ben Spies goes out there, wins a MotoGP race,
wins the race,
he won, and does it. But it's cool to. I think Ben Spies was our last guy, our last American to really
I
go
think
there
that was asked in
and do the job.
2011, Jules, to answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was 2011. Okay.
Yeah.
That was 09.
It was.
It was a
in the
runaway
rain.
victory. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
In the rain.
I watched that race.
On a red and white
I was like, yo, who's this Ben Spies guy? Yeah, and I followed on my Instagram.
Yep.
I got like literally
both of you guys, since we're here and we're talking about this. What's your favorite races? It could be Moto America, World Superbike, MotoGP. What is your favorite race of all time?
Mine, Isle of Man TT. Straight up fact. I'm a huge Isle of Man, because to me it's like there's two type of riders. There is a closed circuit rider, and then there's your fucking brass balls on the walls rider, right? And them ones with them brass balls on them open roads. It's like, holy shit, are you fucking kidding me? Watching that is just crazy mega. MotoGP. One of my favorite races of all time in MotoGP, I would have to say 2009 Catalunya, when Rossi passed Lorenzo on the last corner on the last lap. It was just the emotion. It was the race. Okay, so the race wasn't really that good. The last couple laps, the battle between them was phenomenal, right? But it was the emotions that went behind that, from me being a Rossi fan and hating on Lorenzo, fuck him and all that, right? But all that raw emotion behind it, because that hatred between them two, that was just, oh my God, it was, fucking phenomenal, man.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. For me, I can't. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe you guys can help me out. But it was the battle between Valle and Jorge Lorenzo, where it was raining and everyone was still debating whether they should switch to slicks, and Lorenzo and Valle stayed on the rain tires even when the track was dry, and they were racing each other neck and neck while the tires were degrading so bad.
Okay.
Like I had that race downloaded. I think it was in 2015. I watched that race all the time.
They had some words on the podium with each other, I think, too, after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that race was so sick. I was like, there's no way that they're racing neck and neck on rain tires. And the tires look like octagons, yo. Like it was so bad. Specifically, another race that I come back, and this one I remember, was when they had about 32 lead changes between SDK and Richie Escalante.
Yes, Moto America
last year.
20?
That race. I can't stop watching that race.
Yeah. Now, Laguna Seca was
it was.
Laguna Seca was good for them.
2019.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, 2020. I was going to say 19, but 2020. You're right.
2020, yeah.
It could be 19, because they both raced hard. It was 19. I think it was, because I believe Kelly got the championship in 20.
And then he goes to Moto 2.
Yeah, and then he went to Moto 2 or 2020. Yeah, it was his first year Moto. Yeah. Well, it could be.
I thought Richie.
One of those, but it was very close. Those boys were getting it, man. I would have to say, man, my favorite MotoGP race of all time.
Yeah, there is. It's hard. It's hard. It really is, Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm going more old school here. I'm going to go more old school to the 500 era, but I'm going to go to the 1989 Suzuka Grand Prix with Kevin Schwantzer and Wayne Rainey battling it out. If you ever go on YouTube,
I'm going to write that down.
Write that one down. Watch it. It was probably one of the most epic motors between two Americans that absolutely hated each other, going after it. High conditions. The race was just phenomenal between them. 88 race was good between Swanson and Gardner, but the 89 between Rainey and Swanson, the lead changes and the way they were playing with each other out there, it was just an amazing race.
Same thing,
really
Ryan, as I was speaking about. You're right. That was one of my top 10 favorite races back then, too. Is because of the hatred they had between each other, the history, the emotions that's going behind it. You feel that raw energy you don't typically feel during race wins from people, right? You don't. But when in that situation, you feel it, and it just connects to you in a way that most others don't. You're just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it like watching that race still today and hearing those 500cc two strokes up and down the hills over there. It was a great era of racing. Like I was talking about superbikes back in the '90s. That's what a lot of my
Me
own.
too.
I love '90s superbikes. I love the style, the
Yep,
way
me
they sounded.
too.
I love carburetors, everything era. And for me to be able to talk to a lot of these guys, I get to talk to Thomas Stevens who's at his house and got a bunch
that's
of stuff
awesome.
wearing one of his shirts right now that really cool. So there's a lot of cool things that I've collected over the years, and to be in those eras was just a really cool time for AMA, Moto America, just all that stuff, man. All of it's really good.
I also want to throw in, and this is me just being a fan. I want to throw in 2019 Silverstone Rins versus Marquez.
That was a good one. That was a great
last corner. Rins
the
got
last
him.
corner.
When Rins, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. I said
I agree.
Was the pass of the
that
year.
was the pass of the year, Ron, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the pass of this year was?
Ooh,
that Alicia Spargo pass, right?
Oh, Spargo getting on the inside of Miller
Yes.
and Bender, I think it was, right? Yeah.
Yep. That was insane.
To do that into that chicane, because we all know that the last little chicane at Aston can be your best friend or your worst friend. He just went in there and he fully committed, and that was impressive to watch him go from what was it like?
Yeah,
he
got. I think he ended up on the podium because of that. I think he got fifth or third. Yeah.
He nipped Miller for third, I believe it was.
And it's that same corner, damn it, that Colin Edwards could have won his only race, but he fucked it up. Yeah.
And Nicky Hayden ended up getting it. Yep.
What year was that?
That was 2006.
I gotta watch that too.
Edwards had it.
Like there's a lot of Nicky Hayden races.
He fucking had it.
Yeah. Edwards got into his own head because he got in there and he almost had it. But then, of course, when Nicky was able to cross the gravel, I mean, Nicky got it, but it was cool to see an American. But I always wanted to see Edwards win that race because that was like his best. I mean, that was when he was at his best at that time. And it would have been cool to say, okay, I'm a MotoGP winner. But for him to go out as a AMA 250 GP champion in '92, he goes and wins the 2000 and 2002 World Superbike titles, and to get on the podium and be Rossi's teammate, what more can you ask for?
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, absolutely.
Did they get along? Rossi and Edwards?
They're best.
For sure.
Yeah, Rossi was invited to the boot camp that one year. They were shooting AK-47s and
That's
shit.
awesome, man.
As Boris and MotoGP would say, Americans, they've got guns. Yo, Boris is the man.
There's so much to look forward to next year, guys.
So let me ask you this, Ron. Who do you think your most underrated rider in MotoGP is? The most underrated rider in MotoGP right now.
MotoGP right now. Ooh, you would put me on the spot there. There's a lot of underrated riders. I think Raul Fernandez is going to do something.
Interesting.
Let's see it.
Any reason?
I want to see it. I know he's got the talent, but I think we just haven't taken that talent out of him yet. I think we're going to see something big.
I hope so.
This next year.
What about you, Chris?
Another rider, which I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this.
Yes,
he's my boy. But his Arai helmet's always on point. Taka Nakagami.
You heard Jules go.
I got excited for 0.5 seconds.
So Ryan, yes, I respect Taka a lot. I had such high hopes for Taka. I really hope that this year he could actually pull something out and actually put it together. Like honestly, dude, we all know he can. Everybody in MotoGP, and that's another reason why he's been there. Partly because, yes, he's Japanese, and Japanese wants him in there and sponsoring all that. But they see something in Taka, and that's what keeps him there, right?
They do. Well, and he's basically the only Japanese rider out there, flying the colors, and he's on a Honda.
And his helmet is sick. I love his helmet.
Yeah, it's a sick helmet. Sweet-looking bike.
But he can't keep it up, and you have to be at that level, which I hope for next year he can put something together, but it might just be the end of the road for him. But he's still one of my favorite wild cards. He's still one of my guys that I want to see do good. I like his stuff.
He's a dirt
magnet.
He's a what?
He's a dirt magnet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, people come after me all the time, yo, when I say about these riders, because Ryan, I don't know if you finally caught on, but I'm notorious for calling riders trash.
I
And
mean, there's a lot of and I understand that.
Everybody's,
Got their
that's right.
opinion. Opinions are like
Absolutely.
assholes. Everyone's got one, right?
but I don't really mean they're trash.
Right.
I just mean that,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah, I just mean that they in an elite level, I don't think they can
Right.
keep up.
Exactly.
And Taco was at the top of my list.
Just for anybody to be on that grid,
Absolutely.
it's crazy to be at that
Oh
level.
yeah.
MotoGP grid is amazing, but you're right though. I look at a lot of riders. Like I looked at Jorge Lorenzo for a long time, and I was like, man, I'm just not a huge fan. But looking at what he did and looking at his accomplishments, man, he was a hell of a rider. But I was never a big fan. Like Danny Pedrosa, I couldn't stand Danny Pedrosa. I couldn't stand him. I just thought he was he had no personality. There was no. You go to
A
an
fucking
interview, he's kind
robot.
of looking at you like he's a little
midget
dwarf.
robot.
He looked like he should be working with cookies or something. You know, like Keebler Elf or something like that. That's what we used to call him, the Keebler Elf. So he's just out there. But no, he did a lot too. So I mean, a lot of great riders, and I hope that we see some really exciting racing for 2023.
Exciting racing, exciting personalities, man.
Yeah, more personality in MotoGP. We need some more.
We
need some more Jack Millers in MotoGP. We need somebody that's going to the camera and tell somebody, "Hey,
that's it.
Oh, you got second. Oh, you suck."
Exactly.
Or something like that. You know,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's exactly what we need.
What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like we need
instead
a little
of quick kissing each other in the mouth.
Watching some.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I'm not asking for fights. I mean that would be cool, but
I get it.
But I feel like the last person to really be that personality was Valentino Rossi.
He was.
Valentino Rossi was not afraid of saying someone is garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Rossi had that ability to do that, and Cal Crutchlow also did that in his media.
Oh yeah, Cal. Yeah.
Cal did that a lot, and Jack Miller's starting to kind of get into that fine tune too. But it's so different now compared to that back then because there's a lot of things to get away with. So now if you say something, okay, it's a $5,000 penalty.
Yeah.
$5,000. What's $5,000 to these guys?
You shouldn't say this to somebody, or you shouldn't do that. I mean, it's just there's a lot of rules to it, but we need some more attitude. I think in all the series, we need those rivalries to come back. I hope so. I think we're going to get that back. Hopefully,
I think World Superbike is a prime example of it.
Yeah,
those guys are ready to hop off their bikes and deck each other in the face. Yeah, especially like Scott Redding.
And that's what I love. That's what I love about going. Like you asked me earlier, Road Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks to go to as a spectator, as a fan. I love going to Barber 2 for Vintage Fest. I've been going to that event quite a while, and going to these events and hanging out with these ex-90s and 80s and early 2000s riders, and they're all hanging out. It's cool to bench race with them, and I've got to hang out with Aaron Yates many times and have a few drinks with him. Got to hang out with Scott Russell. Got to hang out with all these guys and Doug Poland. There's so many different guys that you get to talk to, and they tell you these experiences and the rivalries. So you start talking to them, it makes them smile because you're like, man, you guys did this, but it was a lot tougher back then. Of course, there's a lot of different bikes out there, but talking to them and seeing how they feel and the bar stories and going to Road America.
It's fucking awesome. I need to go. I need to go.
Yeah. We need to go, man.
You need to go to some races. I mean, yes. I know you go to a lot of really cool coming up this year.
We're definitely going to meet at Coda, Ryan, for sure.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be there. I know a lot of other people will be there too, so we need to all get together and grab a drink, man.
Epic times for sure.
Man, it looks like Coda's gonna be busy for all of us, man. Because we have you coming, we have one of Chris's boys coming, we have Dave Neal that's gonna be there.
Right.
Yeah,
good. Yeah, I'm loving what you guys on the British stuff too, man. You guys on the British podcast, that's the thing. I think it's really cool to see all these guys come out of the woodwork and really work.
I appreciate it, man. I think it's mega, dude. I think it's mega. We're gonna have more. We're having more.
It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing.
Yeah,
and we were just talking with I was just talking about this with Chris last night. I was like, yo, we need more Americans, because all these international people are like, oh, I want to be on your podcast. I want to be. I'm like, okay, but damn, we need more Americans. It's cool to have. We had we had Robert Lackey, and now we have you. And I'm like, okay, good. We're in a good American streak. Eric Schwann.
Here. And, Chris has been following my old page since 2015. I had to restart the page last year. Somebody reported the photo I had, so we went from 3,000 members down to about 1.2 now. But it's just fine. I've still got my main audience, and I love it. But watching Chris and you do the Pin to Gas podcast and make the page has been awesome. You're getting a lot of good people. I've been sending a bunch of people I know your way and saying, hey, these guys are starting something great. All it's going to do is benefit everybody.
That's right. I
and we're all
appreciate
family
it,
in this
means a lot
together,
to me,
man.
Ryan. It really
it.
does.
I mean,
No problem,
I
man.
gave the foundation, but Chris built
Thank
all
you.
of it.
Yeah. But it's to have like a fan like myself or you or Chris, and we're sharing the passion. Like I've seen Chris's man cave, and it's cool. And there's posters, but every
That's
one
right.
of them means something to me in some way. So it's cool to have that, to look back on. And then it's a hobby for us. I told Chris, I said, there's not a day I don't wake up in the morning not thinking about motorcycles. I'm always around it. I've got a girlfriend that's very appreciative of it, and she's very helpful about it, and she supports me 100%. So it's a way of life for me. It's always been like a kid, and I still do that with my dad. We still hang out, talk racing, and yeah, man,
I know. And look, man, you tell Steve I said hello, man. I really appreciate him following Pin to Gas, and he's always commenting, man, and it means a lot to me, man. So I just want you to tell him personally, thank you from me.
He loves it. I would definitely do that. Now I'll be seeing him this Friday, most likely, or Thursday at bike night. He loves the page, man. We've been talking a lot about it. He goes, it's cool to see you guys, everybody feed off some ideas. And I said, of course.
That's awesome.
So it's really good.
I enjoy the journey so far. I enjoy the fact that Chris can bear with my stupid takes sometimes, and to be my encyclopedia. And we the dynamic duo, and then just having you guys as guests and coming in and just telling your story or telling just your opinions about everything, and just teaching us something that we already know or something that's new. And it's just it's one big learning experience. And that's what I really like about this, because next time I go into a Moto America season, I'm gonna know all these people that you guys are talking about.
Oh yeah. And it takes and the reason that me and Chris know a lot about it is because we've been around it. We've been around the paddock. I've been around the paddock since I was a kid. So going to a lot of these guys, and then of course going up to your favorite rider 20-something years after they did something. I bring posters all the time to Moto America. Hey, Doug Chandler's going to be here this weekend. I better bring this poster so he can sign it. He comes looking, and I know Chris is a huge Doug Chandler fan. Hey, I brought him a poster 2 years ago, and he's over there. Oh, he's like, "Oh my God, where'd you get this?" I said, "I got two of them. You won't know. I've already got one, but where'd you get this?" Signs it up, man, and it's cool to hang out with a lot of the older guys, but to see the new talent come up is where
that's where I come in.
Yes.
The new era. Like I'm trying to make my name as much as Pin to Gas, but I'm trying to make my name known in the paddock too. Like when I was in New Jersey Motorsports Park this year, I heard a lot of Jules left and right. Jules, Pin to Gas. I was like, bro, we're only like 6 episodes in,
Something
5
like
episodes
that,
in, and people are like, oh, Jules,
but people,
where's the show? And I'm like, oh, the show couldn't make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's surreal to me, because 2020 going there, pandemic season, I had no clue who anybody was, and I was just happy to be there. Right. And then now I go there, and it's like, oh man, I'm somewhat somebody coming in. And then Chris was already somebody. Now he's even more of a somebody going in there. So
yeah.
And also the people that we have on, the people who don't get to speak much, like your Sam A's and Sam B's that come in our podcast and explain their story. Right. Now they might have a bigger voice when they go back to the paddock. You know what I'm saying? So it's beneficial for everybody.
It's cool, because when you mention people knowing you, I took my girlfriend Tanya to Barber for the first time for Vintage Fest. Never been to a motorcycle race in her life back in October. So we go over there, and I said, yeah, there's gonna be some people that probably know me in the pits. We'll come everywhere. Like I get out of the car, hey, Nate Kern's over here. Hey Ryan, what's up? All these, hey Ryan, hey. You didn't tell me all these people. I said it's just people I known over the years, and people that follow pages, people that see what we've been doing over the years, and it's really cool that myself and you and Northeast Jules, and there's so many other people. Road Race at Millennium page is really good. You got Britt, and John and Diane over there, and Donovan. There's so many good people. Donovan Huffgiver. I know Donovan's a huge fan of you guys. I know he's
shout out Donovan.
Yep, Donovan's good. People I've known him for years. It's really cool just to see those kind of pages go on. The 80s page, the 90s road racing pages. We all have something in common. So even if you're not into this or this, we're all family in some sort of way.
And we're just trying to make this thing fun, because this whole Pin the Gas thing, at least for when I put out the foundation, I told the show, I was like, I only made this because I was so bored listening to everybody else, except for Moto PG. Moto PG was dope, but like everybody else, I was like, this is so boring. Let me do this myself. So, you know, because the colored commentary is missing, man. Like everyone's so afraid to say things now. Again, except for Moto PG.
Everybody's so quiet about different things, but I always talk. I did a few YouTube videos in the past, and we did a few of them, and they were okay, but getting a group of people, I think Roundtable is
Roundtable,
like what you guys are doing right now. You guys, Roundtable is great, but I would love to
Let's
do that
do
with
it.
you guys one time, even if it's here or we do.
Oh no, we're
like,
setting that up, bro.
Let's get two race guys, newer guys like Brandon Posh over here, and let's be
do
like.
it.
I would
I'm
love to
huge
get Posh
fans.
and Jenny Estes on here, and let it could be explicit. I want it to be all out. Let's go. Let's talk about.
That's
All
it.
right, who
Who you want to punch
in
in the
not like
mouth?
We're reaching out to Brandon Posh, bro.
Yeah, I think we need more of that, and I think this podcast is getting closer to, just implying that. So I think it's really cool to see that. And
Let's do it, Ron.
Let's go for
I've been trying to get Brandon Posh.
Yeah, he agreed to come on. He hit me up and agreed to come on. It's just hard to get him nailed down with a specific time. I know.
He's always driving that van around.
The whole Supermoto jig thing, man.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so many great up and coming talented kids out there.
Yes.
We got a local guy named Avery Dreyer that runs over here.
I want to get him
Big
on.
fan of Avery Dreyer. I've been watching him since his South Stage.
Oh yeah.
He's really good.
Yep.
On here,
I'm a
Julian
fan.
Carrera.
Yes, I'm a fan of his too.
Another quick guy.
Chris is a fan of everybody.
Yeah. But who's
it is, and I enjoy it, man. It makes my day. Like, I had the best day. I woke up today. I was like, dude, it's the best day ever. I get to talk. It's podcast day. I get to talk to my friend Ryan Rawls, and dude, it's an epic day, right?
And I appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate being on the show, and I'm happy we were able to get this done, man. I know it took a few more weeks than expected, but no, man. Anytime you're in the area, man, and anybody that's checked it out, Ryan's Racing Lounge Facebook group page, come by and check it out. And no, man, you guys are in Orlando, Florida. You guys stop by.
Absolutely, man. And hey, Ryan, we'd love to have you on again too.
Plan on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make it happen.
Oh, I would love to come back on. Yeah, I mean, what's up, man? More than happy to come back on, and maybe we could do some other stories about some other races, or we could talk about a certain thing or whatever. I mean,
because we love smack talk on here, man. Like we love.
I can do it with
we love unfiltered smack talk, yo. Because I have no time with that whole professional stuff. I mean, maybe at one point, I won't eat while we're podcasting. Maybe at one point I'll put on a suit. But as of right now, man, where we are and how raw we are, I think that this is probably the best way to go. I mean, we're all in, just like at Chris's shirt. We're all in. That's a sexy shirt, man.
Hey, man! I told you he's sending. I'm getting more in the mail.
So
I honestly, Ron, I did.
Yeah, he sold out. Yeah,
shirts, and I sold them all out. And originally, I ordered a couple double XLs because I knew a couple of my friends and Jules, they wore bigger sizes, and and Ryan, you too, of course.
Right.
And they actually, man, he messed up my order, so he's sending them to me with this new order. So as soon as I get them in, just message me, Ryan. I got you.
Yeah, man.
It's all blessing, and the shirts are gonna we're trying to come out with like a new design too. Right now it looks sick, but I have a feeling like a new revamped design is gonna look sicker too. Plus the way that the shirt is laid out, it's like it's like a dry fit.
Yeah, it's a pit shirt with the little zip right here.
Yeah.
A pit shirt, dude. I got one from Aprilia Racing. Oh man, I love those pit shirts. It makes it feel like I work for them. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question for you guys since if we have a little bit of time left. We'll go with this real quick. I'm going to go say this right now. Favorite bike?
Ducati 916.
You want to go, Chris?
Okay.
I'm new gen. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The RSV4.
Pick a new one.
RSV4.
Okay, RSV4. Okay, I'm going to go with the FZR Symphony R OW01 1990 model. That's my dream bike. Chris knows this.
At least I do.
Posted that damn bike at least.
What's the resale value on those things?
Yeah. Retail of $25,000 to $30,000.
Resale or retail?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I like all the ducks too, man. I like the older ducks. I like that duck that was in the Matrix movie.
That was a
I forgot
998.
which one that was.
Matrix Edition. Yep.
That was the 998.
FE Final
that
Edition.
green one.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
my second all-time favorite bike would be a ZX7R, ZX7RR for sure. And dude, I've always been a big fan of the RC51. I love that bike.
Yeah, that's great.
RC51.
Especially the Nicky Hayden edition.
And the resale value on those things is insane. I was on Facebook Marketplace and I saw one of those. I was like, holy shit.
No, they are.
Yeah,
they're ridiculous.
Good ones out there, man, for sure.
I've always wanted to ride those RS250s, those Aprilias.
Yeah, RS250.
I always want to ride one of those because they look so cool. They're like mini RSV4s.
I want Ryan's YSR50. That's what I want. I want to get me one of those.
Oh,
they're hard to find. I've been trying to find one.
Yeah, they're out there. They're just going for big money now. It's crazy how much money these things are going for. I mean, beat up ones are going for $25,000 to $3,000. Luckily enough, I was able to get mine about 2 years ago now, coming up on 2 years, and restored it, rebuilt it.
I remember when you bought it and started the project.
So
I remember at the speed shop, the Sprocket shop.
Yeah.
Speed shop.
It was good.
The Sprocket Speed Shop.
What a name.
Yep. Sprocket
I'm
Speed
a fan. And tell Keith I said hello.
Yep. I will tell. Oh, I'll be seeing him on Tuesday, man. Since we got Sundays and Mondays off, I'll be seeing him his crazy ass tomorrow.
I also want to throw in the KTM RC8. I think that was a sweet bike too. That had a very short lifespan.
A good one.
Yeah.
I saw one. It was going for like I think it was going for like $8,000. Like, and then I was like, no way, an RC8 for $8,000? What's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong?
Like,
they're nice bikes. I've
money.
never ridden one, but they're really nice bikes.
Yeah, my friend owns one. He was like, KTMs are dope until they're not dope anymore.
That's awesome.
Right,
and then you can't fix them.
No, man. I've been enjoying it, man. Like I said, I've enjoyed the podcast, man.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Love to have you back.
Yeah, no, man. I'm definitely looking forward to some more adventures. Unfortunately, I get some more stuff done today, but
thank you so much.
Really
I enjoy your page too as
doing,
well.
Man.
For sure.
Yep, we enjoy it all. Awesome. The encounters, the conversations, the stories.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to Pin the Gas podcast. I am Cool Jules. That is Krista Show Simko, Razor Ryan Rawls, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you, boys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
guys.
man.
Later.
Later.